Hey folks, this is Kalani. We're a month or so into the expansion, and it's about that time when I get the itch to try one of the other classes. It's not that I'm not enjoying my main, it's just nice to be able to fill out a few other roles and see what they're all about. It's all good and dandy shouting at the tank for failing, but if you haven't been in their shoes and you don't know what they have to deal with, you should probably keep it to yourself. It's nice to see encounters and dungeons from the perspective of other roles so you can appreciate what they have to deal with. That being said, I'm finding it less and less appealing to log in and level an alt, let alone drag it through everything my main has already done. It seems like in Legion the stacks and stacks of content that we loved when we first hit 110 is also waiting for us when we hit 110 on any alt. A lot of folks seem to think this expansion will push people away from alts a lot more than any other. So, will Legion be the alt killer expansion? The leveling might not be too bad, it's actually done very well. I wouldn't mind questing through the Broken Isles a few more times, and you can't spam run dungeon anyway because of the poor experience. With the amount of side quests available, you could potentially level up much faster and without going to every zone. The problem with that is you need to complete every major quest line in each zone for the pillar quests. That means you're also going into every dungeon at least once. You could blast through and do the very minimum required to hit 110, but then you run into other issues such as flight paths for world quests, reputation for a multitude of reasons, and in some cases quite a sizable chunk of artifact power. That means you're pigeonholed into completing the same quests overall to level, which is not quite the variety we were promised. But then again, when did we ever have anything significantly different when leveling alts? If your goal is to get to 110 as quickly as possible, you're probably going to have to do a bit of work after the fact to pick up bits and pieces you left behind. That's not all too of a new thing. When it comes to professions, you better be ready to put some serious time into your alt if you want it to be a true profession alt. Most professions require you to get to 110 before you can unlock many of the base recipes, let alone the real cool and special stuff. Not only that, but you're going to need at least a minor supply of Blood of Sargeras. The only way to get Blood of Sargeras is to play the game, not necessarily what profession alts are used to. The best way would be picking up any and all world quests for the Bloods as they pop up, but that's not a very reliable source. Running dungeons seems to be a great source, but again will require you to actually play your alt, both to gear it and then to run said dungeons. But if you want to use professions for their breakdown utility, enchanting for the disenchanting or jewel crafting for its prospecting, you won't have to level at all, so that's really nice. But depending on what you want your profession alt to do, it might be better swapping professions around on your main. Now I know quite a few people who dropped gathering on their mains to pick it up on an alt they keep at 101. You can still run around and gather most things at 101 due to the world scaling. You might think that a bit odd, but it actually works massively in your favour. Pimping out a 101 character gives you a huge advantage over the very weak 101 monsters. You can actually one or two shot most mobs in your way, making it a lot faster to clear your path. The only drawback is you can't do this with crafting professions, as you need to do the quests to get the recipes, and you won't survive too long in Suramar, meaning farming Starlight might be an issue. The reputation requirements restrict you more than anything else, and you'll still need all the reputations, and you'll need to start the Nightfall grind to unlock world quests. Something I don't really think you can go without. It's not just world quests though. If you want to take your alt into the Archway or the Chord of Stars for Mythic or Mythic Plus, you'll need to unlock them separately on each alt. Thankfully, these two requirements are being changed to account-wide come 7.1, but we still don't know when that will drop. We should be looking sometime this year, as it's slated before Nighthold, and we know we'll get our hands on that very early 2017. So I guess you could suck it up, or wait it out. The reputation requirements aren't all that difficult to get, only Suramar rep for the dungeons is a slight pain in the behind, but probably less of an issue than waiting until 7.1 could be. Artifact power is a great addition to the game. It allows us to progress slowly as the expansion unrolls, but holy moly does it look like a giant wall when coming from a main character with 3 gold traits. Pretty much every drop of artifact power you've gained will have to be collected again on each alt, be that from quests, world quests, dungeons, Mythic Plus, or even your raids. If you don't do everything you did on your main character on your alt, it won't be as powerful, which is quite a shame. Thankfully, artifact knowledge works a bit differently for alts, depending on when you level. You'll still need to put in the same amount of work orders to reach the same artifact knowledge level, but they won't start at the 5 days like they did for everyone else. Each artifact knowledge level will be faster than the 5 days until you catch up, meaning you still have one hell of a way to go, but you can catch up eventually if you keep your work orders rolling. That means that artifact power is still going to be a grind, it's just going to get a bit easier more quickly than the first time around. That means you should at least level your alt to 110 so you can get those work orders going, making waiting for 7.1 a bad call. Either way you look at things, it requires a bit more time and effort to get alts up to max level this time around, but it's not the impossible feat some chaps are making it out to be. It's not all doom and gloom. Legion may be the alt killer expansion for some, but settling down with a main character is never a bad thing. I actually look forward to progressing my main in any way possible now due to the time I've already put in. I'm definitely going to level up an alt or two eventually and make sure their artifact knowledge is being kept up to date, but there's no rush for me to have every class up at max level like there was with other expansions. I always have something to do on my hunter, which has basically never happened before. I can progress outside of raids quite happily, run challenging content without having to wait for my set guild nights, and I feel like I don't need to play alt to keep myself entertained for maybe the first time in playing WoW. That makes me pretty damn happy. I hope everyone else is having as much fun with their chosen main character, but that's it for this video. If you have any questions or queries, please leave them in the comments section below, and I'll try to get back to you. Make sure to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, remember to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.